to let me know what he's thinking about as mayor. Open for questions. Everybody knows everybody. I don't see a reason for introduction.
Who's he? Okay.
Yeah, he's the township. If anybody's got any questions pointed toward Travis, that's fine. We'll start out that way. If there are other questions, we're all here to answer anything that you ask of us. And I think, first of all, my opinion is let Travis kind of give us some pointers where he stands and what he wants to do as mayor, where he wants to see the city go. And that's my idea. Go. Go. No.
Let's give it a couple more minutes here till 7.
Okay.
I'm not gonna call the meeting to order yet.
Okay. Well, there ain't no formal deal or anything.
Well, while we're not discussing meetings and board things, would you please speak on the microphone at the meetings? Which means either move the microphone this way or move you this way.
You might not want to hear it. Point taken.
Okay, thank you. Because we're going to go. But when I get down there, it's like you're listening. When I listen to this video,
It's all derogatory here, but
I wouldn't make checks. Why not buying a better model there for you? My princess, it's really good. Yeah. You can't hear it all.
got your nice comfortable chair.
Yeah. I see Dave Granby that writes one of your stories.
Yeah, I got a little help from Randy on a different deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
He's a fellow Democrat, though.
we won't hold it against him.
Keep throwing that around like it's a sword.
Hey, I'm losing, so I'll get your trash if you walk away from me.
I have a question. I was gone for a lot of years from here, but I was born and raised here. So after being 5, I was returned in, I guess, 12. Been back a few years here, 50 years. But I've always had an interest in the city. And when I lived here, I was active in the city, I was on the council. And I was mayor over time, and I'm still there. I put my money, whether I'm living here or I'm living wherever I lived before. So when I pay taxes, I'm definitely right back there in city business. I went to a council meeting last night. Heard a summary of what the auditors had to say. I've been on the council. I'm going to get motion right now. All right. And I've made that motion every day. That's just going. There's no excuse. No excuse no more. City. When the auditor said it's so bad that you need to subcontract me to do your business, keep you in trouble. I said, no, no. Something needs to be done about that. What would you do, Travis?
I think there needs to be some drastic changes done. Okay, I'll go to the chase. Yeah, I said last year, when the audit was presented, I heard the same thing. I heard the same recommendations that were made. And how we went over budget. After sat on council for the last year and seen countless inaccuracies, not being prepared, all that. I think it's time for change. I don't think it's fair to the city of Granby, the taxpayers, all of them, to be paying someone to learn when it doesn't seem that they're even learning. A comment that's made quite frequently that annoys me to no end is my bad. And what I've done the best part of my life is either try to run my own business or someone else's. And I've never worked for anybody that would fire my ass for that kind of stuff. And I don't expect the people of Granby to put up with it. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of, just cut to the chase. This council has been so divided that it seems the sides have been taken, and it doesn't matter if you stand for something, regardless of other people stand against it, knowing it's wrong, just in fact. And I was elected by the people of Granby to serve. In a lot of aspects, I feel like I have failed. I don't feel like that we as a council or the mayor have accomplished one damn thing in the last year. I think it's been a total waste. It's not even a good example of an experiment on that. There's no trying to get together on stuff. Communication is pitiful at best. There's a few.
There's no excuse for that. The council up there on the beach, they can't do a better job than what they're doing. They call it low time, inconsistency. Going on, which is so readily dole out.
I agree.
Then y'all need to come.
I agree.
We elected to give money, our business. City Hall, our business. Like, I was say.
I agree.
We elected them, do that. And you're not doing it. So, anyway, many questions I have.
Thanks for putting me on the spot. By the way, that's my
You wasn't favorable.
It's all right. There is that altogether. I do agree that we probably haven't done everything we should. A lot of these problems have came up. I mean, I'm new to this. I've learned a lot last year. A lot of these problems present themselves in the most inopportune times. You find out that the funds broke when you can't pay a $100,000 gas bill. I feel like there's been a total breakdown, and I'm not blaming anybody particularly. And I'll share the burden on this because as aldermen and as the mayor, it is our job, like you said, to manage the city and to manage you guys' funds. It's your money. You elect us for money. And a lot of people don't take that burden very well. I won't speak for anybody. I didn't run for notoriety. I didn't run with an agenda. Yeah, I had an agenda. And I think anyone who runs for office doesn't have an agenda, has no business running. If you don't have a plan and an idea how to make it work, then really what the hell are you doing? Are you going to sit up there and just raise your hand? I mean, to me, there's more to this than showing up twice a month, sitting there for an hour, and you have to kind of excuse some of my language here. Pissing and moaning about it if the meeting runs over more than an hour, acting like they've got something more important to do. I mean, by God, what are we like for? I know I've ruffled some feathers. If someone thinks that it was, I was out of line, I'm talking. If I owe you an apology, you'll probably do it. I'm not too big to say I'm wrong. But come say it to me. Don't say it with us. I'll accept my failures. I will. If I tell you something, I'll do it. If I don't do it, I'll tell you why I can't. But this last year, I have never felt so helpless in my life because it seems like no matter what issue is brought up, but what issue? I was outnumbered and outnumbered. I didn't come into this deal to turn the town upside down. I come into town to try to help the town. I mean, I grew up here too. I left and was gone for 20 years. Not even. I come back, lived here a year, watched the way things worked, and saw how dysfunctional it was. But the problem is, and I'm not blaming anyone, the problem is it's been that way so damn long, everybody accepts it. And that old terminal, that's the way it's always been. That doesn't cut it. And there's a lot of things that's been screwed up for years. And people look at you with such contempt when you just try to say, this way works better. This is the way this works, this is the way this works. Oh no, my God, we can't have that. I mean, for instance, in the accounting, I'll admit I'm very limited on my computer skills. But I have done some work with QuickBooks. It's only, any computer program, as most people know, is only as good as the information is put in. There's no genius inside that box that figures it out. But QuickBooks is an amazing program. You can use half of it, you can use a little bit, or you can use it all. You can use payroll, you can do every damn thing in the world. But we won't, we work harder to keep things held back than we do before. And to me, that is such a waste of time and effort and taxpayers. I mean, we were faced the other night with the audit. The price was doubled of what it should be. Last year, it well exceeded. The year before, it well exceeded. And then we hear, well, you know, when we had the CPA group up there, it was never like that. Well, it's because they chose to lose their tail end on the bill. I personally spoke with the CPA group. They made the same recommendations. They, once again, were not followed. Now, I'm not going to put the blame on history. We can't, I don't have a time machine. But I'm saying, this, right now, what we're faced with, is stupidity in this one. Unless we're going to make some changes, make some hard changes, make some decisions, and be prepared to suffer the wrath, then, you know, I mean, win, lose, or draw, something's got to change. And guys looking down the road, I'll say this on the sewer issues, which I'm sure there's some questions about. Me and Art are somewhat bound in what we can say. I'll walk the razor's edge on being able to answer your question. But I will say this. The day after I was sworn in the office, I went down there and looked around, and I was disgusted. And I brought it to the council's attention. There's no action taken. The action that was taken was a raise that was given to the office. The place was a total mess. It was a total mess. I've seen salvage yards that had better organization, that were clean. I pursued it. We had talks with the operator. At first, I thought they were getting somewhere. Then mysteriously, all of a sudden, I didn't know. Whether it be a talk with another elected official or what, I was basically told to shut my damn mouth about it. By the way, that he'd take care of it. He had the answer. We got the goddamn answer. we got the answer. And I tried to ring the bell and tell everybody, this is where we're headed. Sooner or later. I'm sure a lot of people think that I contacted the DNR. I've got friends in low places and I've got friends in high places, but I couldn't fill that. I spoke with the DNR a couple of months after. He told me then, your town's been in violation for a long time. We've been patient. He told me, understand this, we're here to help you. We know you're a small town. We know you can't afford this, but our patience goes so and so far. He said, we're here to help you. You're on that list. He told me programs that were coming up were available, but he also told me in these words, we've also got a big stick and we're not afraid to swing, and you're on that list too. I tried to convey this information. Nothing. Nothing. And I'm not pointing this. The mayor is in charge of day-to-day operations. His methods, and I'm not going to sit here and slam the mayor, but his methods have been weak. It's about the most polite way I can put it. In a city, in a corporation, in a job, you can't let relationships. I like to be friends with everybody myself, but there's a point in time you got to draw a line in the sand. I've heard countless accusations. I've had a lifetime friendship with the man sitting right there. It's Public Works Department, and that has been thrown in my face countless times. And I will say this, in all honesty, and he can back me up on this. Before I run for office, him and I had a long talk. And I told him, Jim, if it comes down to you have to fire your ass, you know I'll do it. And what was your answer?
It's your job. But we'll be friends tomorrow. And we have our shopping matches. Like Jacob was just one the other day. We don't get along. Friends like brother, they don't get along.
But I look at all this as like, this is about Granby. And Granby is built by citizens. Every person in this town, whether you work here, if you live here, if you spend money here, it's all about, that's what it is about. And we've got to realize this. And it would be great if every department got along great. Everybody could confide in each other, talk to each other, work things out, work the problems out. And the council, we could have a meeting where we could sit there like we are here and discuss things. Civilly, agree to disagree. Hell, there's none of us agree on everything. But that it could just go, and work things out. And that's what it's all about. We can't let the petty things and the personalities and all this stuff, it's driven such a wedge. I'm running for mayor, not king. I want to listen to what you people say. Bear with me just a second. A good mayor's job is to keep everyone in town happy. I don't know where the town is where that happens. They say. I was told by someone, you're going to keep 50% of the people happy, you're going to keep 50% of them pissed off. About the time you satisfy these, then these turn to these. So it's just a constant balance. But I think a lot of the problem is when there are issues that come up that people are getting out of shape over. The best thing to do, and I recommend this, and I've said this since the day I was elected, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me. Explain to me what I've done, or if I vote some way and you don't agree, come and ask me. You know how many people have done it? You know how many people pull up my driveway and ask me about it? Zero. But, I have heard what a horrible, bloodthirsty son of a bitch I am, and I want to fire everyone, and I want to break it. This department, I want to break it. That department, I want to break it. That's not the case. I want the departments to all work together and realize this is the city of Granby, the city of Granby. And we all need each other. And it hadn't been that way for years. I can't remember in my life There's always this group and this group and this group. And that's the way it's always going to be. But until everybody kind of unites and realizes, hey, we've got big problems, and when we've got some bad victims now. And what I'd like to see is, I'm not going to sit here and say, this is all Richard's fault. This was all Don's fault. This was all Jerry Gamber's fault. He was mad. This is all, RL's fault. That ain't going to get us nowhere. We've got some problems. We've planted ourselves in the tightest corner that you could ever see. So let's get our ass on it. But we're all going to have to work together, let bygones be bygones. And as far as, the DNR, the EPA, the federal government will take care of being judge, jury, and prosecutor. So there's no sense in, I want to keep everyone as informed as possible, but we can't go back. All we can do is realize there's been some major malfunctions going on, and we ain't putting up with it anymore. Let's fix it. I've seen a lot of your faces at the council. I'd like to see that hall packed every week, every time we have a meeting. You voted for us so many times, and I've heard this from different candidates. Well, they elected me. If they don't like what I'm doing, they can vote me out the next time. By God, I don't see it that way. I'm accountable from the day I come in to the day I'm gone. And I rang the bell. But, I'm working with you. So if there's a problem, I want to know it. And if it means that much to you, come and tell me. Be recognized at the meeting. Tell us. If it's that important. I guess my biggest complaint is, I try my best to stay away from social media. But if it's important enough to complain about on there and show up at that meeting, let me look you in the eye and explain to you why. Give me that benefit. Give me that benefit. Because I don't like arguing. I love to argue, but I like to do it face to face. But I just think we're past the crossroads. We're on the wrong damn road. And I've got several plans, several things in mind, but I've got a plan, and everything I've come up with, and I'll sit there and tell you about every one of them. I'll be here tomorrow minute. But there's an end result to it. But they all start at the same position. They all start at the same place. There's so many problems and issues that start in one position. Until we get a legitimate budget, and I'm not talking a bunch of numbers. I have spent the last month or so contacting a lot of communities around here. I've got copies of the budget. I've talked to city clerks. How are you doing this? What are you doing this? How are you doing this? And it is amazing how cut and dry their stuff is. To look at their budgets, to see some of them that show you, start out from the first month of the fiscal year until the end, where every month there is a comparison from this month you're spending to last year at the same point what you spent and how you're achieving your budget, where you're working at it, where you are now, blah, 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 blah. That way you can look at it and say, well, we spent $57,000 in this fund last year, and this year we spent $67,000. Why is that? Has there been some expenditure there that's, if you can't find anything out, well, that's, and it's not to blame someone, it's to inform you. I'm not looking to blame anybody. I don't see how in the world that any council or any mayor has been able to operate under this accounting practice. It is ridiculous. We're going at it ass backwards. You've got $1.5 million, okay? This is what you start with. And when you get to the end of the year, if you're not broke, hell, you done good. I've never seen anything so ass backwards engineering in my life. That's not the way you do it. You know what you've got. granted, as revenue comes in, you don't have $1.5 million at the beginning of the year. Although, there are cities around here, one of them close, being Seneca, Missouri, that right now, to my understanding, is from city clerk, that if they did not produce 1% of revenue for the next fiscal year, it wouldn't harm their day-to-day operations. They've got that much cash in reserve that they can operate for 1 year without any revenue. And wouldn't that be great? To start out with all you need to be able to purchase these things. Not, well, are we going to build forges? Well, yeah, I hope so. Well, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I can't take hopes and dreams to the bank. And I don't think anyone can. And this is the most unrealistic accounting practice I've ever seen in my life. I'm no CPA, and math's one of my most important subjects, but I do have a calculator. And I looked over last year's budget, and I told them where it was going to head. Like I began to move off. And this year's budget, the one that we passed, was for less money than we spent last year. Now, how's that figure? It doesn't. It never will. And then we sit and we amend the budget when we're halfway through the fiscal year. And 90% of it was for raises that were not budgeted for.
How do you save money by buying equipment like a car truck? And I see sitting out here in front of the car barn that's never been moved. How do you save money by buying stuff like that?
Most purchases by the city, there has it comes from tax money. Okay. The city of Granby has a capital improvement tax that is rather unique. That is collected. It can be used for day-to-day operation. It is strictly for capital improvement.
In other words, they have an account for themselves.
Well,
Not down on part of ours.
No, I'm not. And by all means, I'm not trying to offend anybody by explaining this.
Why they have equipment sitting around, you know, that never used. You know, I don't.
Well, that's a hot topic. I'm trying to get my answer straight on. Now, I asked all this.
We had an old Granby truck, we had to push it out of the car barn to get started. One bit of heat and a GMC truck. And we probably saved many houses in Granby. That's what they do with their big fine truck. And it looks nice when they go to the old show. Go down with their trucks. Wow, look what Granby's got.
You're just getting in deeper and bigger. Okay, go ahead. You're about to first.
I came in late. I didn't know about this till I went over to the tire shop to replace a tire. And he says, well, you know, Travis Cabin's holding a meeting tonight. I said, what about it? He says, about the pay of the community building. So I said, check that. I came in late. I'm sort of curious as to, this is obviously not a city council meeting.
No, this is an open forum on my dime.
On your dime. Okay.
And it's not about the community
It's
building.
not about the
It's not about the community building.
Just a question and answer. Kind of just let's figure out where everybody stands and what everybody thinks.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and listen here. The gentleman at the table, are they in agreement with you? Or
They'll
are they
get a chance here in a minute when I get my little voice.
Okay, I wanted to know what was the purpose of this meeting. I thought it was
It's just kind of to get acquainted with the candidates.
Okay.
Troy, to answer your question the best I can. Capital improvements, anything that's life expectancy is 2 or 3, 2 years. That money can go to purchase anything that's life expectancy is 2 years or longer. I will say this, I am proud of Granby, and I'm proud of the job it does, regardless of what people think. we need a good fire department, and I believe we've got it. I do. I'm glad that we can afford to buy that type of equipment. I don't always agree with the methods. I think we need a lot better communication. And I'm not just going to pick on the fire department. I think as far as overall, with all of our city departments, I think we lack, and somewhere along the line, hell, maybe it never was it. I think we all need to decide that we're all in this for the same purpose, like I said earlier. And we need to not, if one department is struggling, I think we need to all jump in there and try to help that department. I've never agreed with spending money because we have to. I don't agree with that. If something is a necessity, if there is a need for it, it is a legitimate need, then we need to get it. The fire department, touching on this, I don't want to be clear about this, and I don't think anyone can argue anything safety related. You guys need it for equipment. I never turned it down. I never have. I've never voted no. If you can justify the need.
Is that for Granby or is that for East Newton?
That's for Granby. I had no say anything over these new fire departments.
It's complicated to the city of Granby. Everybody else.
So
Granby's fire department. It's not East Newton.
it is Granby's fire department. East Newton is under contract with the city of Granby. It's basically one department that's two that's housed in the same facility. So it's kind of mutual.
Why would we be doing that?
If it works properly, it can benefit. If not, it can be a hindrance. I would like to see a lot more. I just think everyone needs to sit down and have a conversation about it. I think everyone needs to understand that we are all looking at the same goal. There's times that when you get several things going in one area, most times it's a recipe for disaster. It is. Unless there's a lot of cooperation and everyone looking out for the common good. And I'm not doubting that the fire department's not looking out for the common good. I just think that there needs to be a better understanding, and I think it needs to be put down on paper. And I think whenever it was all put together, I think there were a lot of things left unsaid. I don't think things were clear enough. And
East Newton, don't they have any money for the fire department?
they pay us monthly the way, and if I don't know what's going to come up, and you guys can correct me on it, and you're in for the correct. Because I think this is a topic in town that no one understands. And I think it needs to be brought up. And I wish it would have been a long time ago. And anytime I bring it up, it's taken with that I'm against you guys. And that's not the case. There's a contract between the city of Granby and the East Newton Fire District. It's, what is the monthly fee? Okay. We'll say $750, $800.
I believe.
Check on your phone on this figure. That is paid. Under that, the agreement is they can store their stuff inside it if room is available. We can use each other's things. Granby, East Newton needs them. East Newton, Granby needs them. Share equipment. It works out good, and we're in the aspect where if East Newton Fire District has a piece of equipment that we need for fire and Granby, we can use it, and vice versa. Basically, to my knowledge,
fire rating on your insurance too, the equipment that you have.
Yeah.
So that's a,
I mean, it is a help. It is
that's a
a
plus
help.
also.
It is. Are you gonna get me off this subject?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
if for some reason they would decide, East Newton would decide not to be here anymore, and they move their equipment out, are we gonna have anything left?
Yeah.
I think it's about a 50-50 split.
It's about a
I think it
50-50.
is.
Well, I've always wondered that, because I know it was both, and we're all the time buying new stuff or getting new stuff, and
I haven't seen a recent list on what we do have, what you guys are. Each Newton knows what Granby owns. I haven't seen this year's inventory.
All like that, you name goes on there.
Title for the truck.
New equipment, buy a new fire truck, you got a whole title up there. Whose name's on the title?
Well, Granby's is East Newton's, is East Newton's.
Both of them?
No, East Newton's equipment, East Newton's fire equipment, they own it, Granby's fire equipment, city of Granby owns it. Yeah, it's a separate. We're just, putting it bluntly, we're just embedded in it. And like I say, it's a great idea, it's a great idea.
The main thing with the district and all this, it benefits the city. The district, yeah, we can use a truck. We've got all the trucks we basically need for the district. But what it does for the city and all, right now you're at a 6 rating, and if for some reason the district would pull out, and then the ISO would come in and rate it, you would be up there around 9. You would be in the same situation as what the district is in. The district is 9. And the 72 Ford that we've had since it was new, it's not even considered an engine anymore. It's considered a utility truck because the pump isn't adequate enough for what the city needs for a pump.
And that's owned by the city.
That's owned by the city.
Why don't we fix it?
You guys, you tell me, we've tried to replace it, everybody wants to keep it.
I mean,
That's one of them things that people want
some
to
years, I mean, I'd like to see all the pumps and stuff that's taken off of it, would be great. I mean, it was the first truck Granby ever bought. I remember when it was bought. I was a little kid.
I mean, that's not the main thing is that really both departments need each other.
Oh, I agree. And it works out for both. It
Yeah.
does.
As far as the truck down that sits outside right now, that we've got a building number date on what to do with it and all that we got approved and all. We use it to go get equipment, we use it and all when we have a structure fire to put the hose back in, the equipment in, and also we can bring it back to the station and clean it up so we don't have, that's the main reason for that truck.
How many fire calls you experienced?
What is the number? What is the number on last year? I haven't seen it for years.
I don't know, you're looking at 400 to 500 at least.
That's fire and medical.
Consumed.
Fire and medical.
Fire and medical, we have a lot of medical now, that truck's set up for medical.
Do you have a crew of first responders, certified first responders?
Yes.
You got one right there in front of me. You got 2 certified EMTs on there, so you actually got more than that.
Well, like I say,
No, I mean, that's not what we're here for. You guys have questions, I'll come and ask them.
well, and I'm not picking on
Right, I understand.
Like I say, that department, like many others, I think there needs to be a long set down, and a long, everybody start working together. And there's been so many things that have put wedges between past councils, past mayors, past this, past that. That ain't gonna be easy. Yeah. I mean, just like.
You know, it's the county, they keep talking about the county, you're talking about East Newton.
Well, it's East Newton Fire is what it is, East Newton Fire. But in about something that has been, that I've seen several agreements, not just with you guys, with others. many times. I don't think the city of Granby should ever enter into a contract unless it is approved by the city attorney, period. We can't just have an organization or someone at City Hall set to write up a contract and sign it. I mean, I've seen some of the most ridiculous documents that have been agreed to that somebody that thumbed through a law could sue your tail end off. They're just so wide open, and it's ridiculous. It's more of, it's kind of like what we were told right down there the other night. You know, we hire these professional people. The problem is we never take their damn advice. You know, I mean, that is just ridiculous. You go pay somebody big money for their opinion, and they come in here and say, that, you're in Granby, that don't roll over here. You know, I mean, we are still in the state of Missouri and the United States, and the laws outside still apply inside this town, and we need to set up, take notice, and start acting on it. Like I said, my goal is not to break the city apart, it's to bring the city together. I don't have any big ideas of, going in, firing a whole damn bunch, no. But if someone is not doing their job consistently, hasn't done their job consistently, will not reform, then I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
So do you feel like,
Go ahead.
so do you feel like you can do a better job as mayor than being on the council? Because as a council person, you can vote, where the mayor only votes in the case of tie, you have to have the backing of the council to do anything. So do you feel like you can do more as a mayor?
Well, my bill hadn't amounted much
Yeah,
to
but you
this
still
point.
got to vote.
Yeah, I was the
As mayor,
first one there to lose.
you have to follow up what the council, does.
You do, but the way
Well, you follow up what the council tells you to do, I guess, maybe I'm asking.
yeah, but here's the thing. My philosophy on this is a council is only as good as the information that is given to them. A council is only as good as its leader. If they're given no information, I mean, I've been told to shut up countless times in open session, and not quite that politely in closed session. Well, it's just, I feel like the mayor should be well informed, stay on top of everything that goes on in his city. And it's pretty simple. I mean, something, you talk to your employees, you talk to your department. Instead of just going down there and at that time of the month that you're supposed to sign checks, just going down there and what's next? I want to know what these checks are for. I want to see receipts. I want to know where every dime goes. I can't spend money at home like a record sale. And maybe a lot of it is, well, it's not my money. And there's no money tree around. There's no rich guy named Granby hiding out someplace that comes in and builds our bank account somewhere. To manage a business, you have to wear a lot of hats. You have to know your people. You have to trust your people. But to trust your people, you have to know your people. If there's a problem, you have to solve it. Because at the end of the day, it's on you. If you sit down there and you keep your counsel in the dark, then that's the decisions they're going to make. If they don't know, last October, when I found out that we couldn't lock our gas prices in because we still owed from the season before, I was furious. What made me even madder was the fact that a city employee had to find out. I didn't find this out from the mayor, from the city clerk, but I got a budget that said the gas line made the year before. When at that point we owed $150,000. That is piss poor oversight, is all it is. And I don't want to micromanage, and I hate someone that does. But there's a thing called being coherent, goes a long way. Knowing what to look for, sensing when there's a problem, asking a lot of questions to the point of being annoying. And a lot of it comes back to, and I'm not blaming any individual employee, because actually this problem belongs to everyone. It belongs to people that voted people in, that didn't know what the hell they were doing. It belongs to the person that didn't know what the hell he was doing for running. It belongs to the person that didn't know what the hell he was doing for coming in there and taking over. Not keeping the council informed, but since I've been on the council, I've asked all kinds of questions. I've looked through documents, I've been online, I've been through the ordinance book, and hell, I bring things up that people that have been involved in city business for years don't know. And I mean, when I get out thinking, I got your problems. It just, yes, Joey.
What is your feelings on having that outside accounting firm come in and take over the city's books?
I think it's the only way to go. I think,
What do we need the city hall?
huh?
What do we need the city hall?
What do we need in City Hall?
Okay, now,
You're gonna
Hey,
all the service, contract service outside? Make sure it's shut in there. Somebody can open up their house.
Well, my plan is to, I see where you're headed. I believe that by ordinance, the city clerk's job is to, take care of all the votes. I consider him worried with all of it. But over the years, there's been other tasks put on the city clerk, court clerk, being a representative for Region M Recycling, collecting money, which really that's what we elect a collector for, being office manager.
Travis, all those duties have been there way back. I was there.
Yeah.
I went to reach in with the grants, everything. It's not any more than what
I just think
you have to
that
do.
And it should be easier to.
And my general levy are balanced.
She's doing by herself.
well,
Not right.
I just think that we need to structure City Hall first. I think we need, short term, we need an accounting firm to come in and start getting everything squared away. As time goes on, then we'll work on training people that are there. But initially, I don't want to do that.
How can you train somebody? I sat there last night, started off talking about $750,000 to $800,000.
I didn't say who I was going to train.
Mistakes, check it. I mean, that many errors. You're checking, how do you check that phone?
I tried to.
Council, all that many balances. That easy. Nothing to do.
Travis, just like with Paul, I personally don't have anything against her,
I don't know.
but she's sat in that chair now for probably You're just cross-training somebody else to be able to do it. So, I'm with Jerry here. She does not, I hate to see anybody lose their job. Jobs are hard to come by, and I understand, I know she needs a job. But I'll tell you what, I sat down there last night, I don't know what she makes, what her salary is. I figure it's probably $30,000 or something. But we're paying her that. Then you turn around and you're paying the accountant, and this has gone on for several years. You're paying the accountant to do this. Then you're paying overtures. So you're paying 3 times to get one thing done that should have been more or less done correctly the first time. And all they should have to do is come in and look at that and take it and do what they do. And it shouldn't be drawn out, and they should, whatever they say whatever price they set to do it, it shouldn't be an overture. But this is going on, and I've heard one councilman, don't bring up a name, cuss the accountants like it's their fault. Because he doesn't want to see Paula lose her job. Well, okay, I can understand that to a point, that he's not doing his job if that's the way he's looking at it.
Well, let me say, excuse me, let me say I'm not going to sit here and trash her.
No,
And this is nothing.
I don't expect you to. I don't
There's
try.
nothing personal. I will say, I'm glad you brought that last point up. Because the counselor, when you're talking about, made that statement. And like a lot of things, got me a little curious. So I got a copy of Taylor and Green's contract with the city of Granby 3 years ago when we went into the motion. And this will answer the question you had, David. There is and it's a 3-page long deal, and there's a lot of legal jargon in it. But what basically says is we are entering into a contract with the city of Granby. Here's what we expect. We expect A, B, C, with the expectations that all these figures are correct and that they are entered into the right part of QuickBooks and that your expenditure is this and this. And with the understanding going into this that we will get full cooperation out of city clerk, city hall, the mayor, all of them, whoever. But it is up to you in a word like this, management, to assure these things happen. Well, management, all of them mayor, that's management. A fee was set. This is how much it will cost. Under the expectation that all the criteria has been met. If it's not, there will be charges. They will be discussed. And recommendations will be made. So, the argument I heard down there is, well, they're holding us up. They're holding us up. They had a contract. Well, they had a contract. But crack it open and read it. An estimate is an estimate. That's all it is. You go at it with the expectation, this is what it's going to be. But, when it's 3 times as much or whatever, and understand this, the first year, that firm lost more money than they made. Okay. The second year, they only lost half what they did the year before. This year, even though the figure was almost double, they still lost $7,000. That firm did. Okay. So that being
The
said,
hours is cracking down on mistakes. That's what they're saying.
yes,
The overage on hours they had to work
Yes.
cracking down on mistakes.
I was told by
Right.
Taylor Green, CPA firm, a city of our size should take approximately 150 to 175 hours to do the audit. It's taking over twice that much. And I mean, this is not I'm not trashing anybody. It speaks for itself. And everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. But to me, you know, when the mistake turns into being repetitive,
So what's being done? Okay, you've got the report from the auditor. Has any steps been taken to correct any of that? And this is February, March.
we just got the audit back Tuesday night.
This is the second year, I mean, this is second.
It's the second audit that's
I
been
know
bad.
No,
Third
so-
year.
Third, all three have been bad.
And then had the same problem with another,
I
you know.
mean, what are they doing to correct it? What steps are being done?
They're doing the same thing.
All I can speak for is up to this point in the last year, nothing.
So whose problem, I mean, whose fault is that? Is that the council's fault?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take the line. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I want to get back to, I was under the impression this was, and you had said previously about the trainer being out of, you know, Hall. Are any of the gentlemen behind you, are they on the TIP board as well?
No,
No.
he is.
Who is it? Oh, this gentleman is? Okay. Is there any way, you know, to be honest, I told you yourself there that I just assumed that you were elected mayor, anyone other than Craig Hopper, well, you know, for all kind of purposes. But, you know, I'm rather concerned. I didn't pay attention till about a month or so ago when fate of the community building is being decided. What? You're gonna tear down, you're gonna tear down this. And then I read about what happened with Chester building. And I'm just disgusted. I'm just disgusted with essentially the best parts of Granby's heritage just simply being torn down in order to go ahead and have taxpayers pay more money. So I'm sort of hoping that,
Let me interrupt you for a second. I put together, and I'm going to shut up because these guys are going to be mad at I put together a plan. It was a rough plan. Just here's something to take and run with. What it involved, or what it does involve. But let me start by saying the overall TIF, okay, it's projected income. Okay. I don't know if it's been re-projected in the last few years. I don't know if we're still running off old numbers or what. But I'll make this as brief as possible. When the TIF was sold to the city of Granby, there was a plan on we were going to do certain projects, okay? It was to, beautify, to take care of blighted areas, clean up some of the mess, do these things. Good intentions. Good intentions, they were. Initially, there were a few things done, but there's still, I would say, safely 80% of the initial plan has never been active. Never been active, never been addressed. One of the things that was sold with this bill of goods was a new maintenance barn, which we need to there's never been a rock moved, a damn thing on this, okay? So here we go. The idea behind the TIF, which Joplin is suffering the wrath of this right now, is whenever a TIF program is put in action, there's projected numbers on the income, yearly income of what this is going to do, okay? You can take this, correct me if I'm wrong, you can take this and borrow money against it, okay? So if you take your total program and your plan to a financial institution, you can say, we're going to do this and this and this, and it's going to cost $1 million, okay? We want to borrow this, but when we do this, it's going to create all this tax revenue. Because we're going to fix this up, we're going to attract business, we're going to attract residents, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So at the end of the day, it does. And the thing about it is, you do all of your stuff in the first 10 years, okay? Then you've got another 13 years to go. It's basically like buying a car and not having to run a premium on it for 10 years, okay? What it's supposed to do is make the city get out there actively and make progress, attract business, attract people to your community. Then, with that money you bring in, that's how you pay it. Okay. The way it's been handled was we're going to spend it as we get it. We're not going to go borrow anything. We're not going to run our neck out. So, you know, it's kind of like this. You go buy something you really can't afford. You're going to be a pretty good employee for a while. But if paying for it isn't an issue, you're really not going to get that. And I mean, over the history of that TIF, there have been some improvements that did benefit the town. I mean, they done a bunch of work down there in the park. I think they spent a little money over here. They spent too damn much over here on something that I think they got left over the bag on. Nevertheless, here we sit, 6 years away from its sunset. Okay. In my opinion, for what it's worth, the can is still being kicked down the road. We talk about things, nothing ever happens. I've seen, I'm not going to use that term, there's just a short attention span. We bring them up, we talk about them, we bitch about them, we get everybody's opinion, and we forget about them. There's been more good ideas brought up in this town that never saw the light of day than anything I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there is so much. I mean, we're never going to be the garden spot of the world. But by God, the town will look a lot better. It looked a lot better than I was here. And I think it's, and Mark, I will agree, we have lost a lot of buildings that had historic value. But at some point, you know, they are beyond repair. They are allowed to go beyond repair.
Well, the Chester building, I remember a decade ago, I said, hey, why don't you just buy that? You only have to use that domain because it's up for sale. Go ahead, just simply, you're talking about these special education classes. There's a whole bunch of little rooms that can be used for that.
Well,
and what they want to do is they want to spend $3.1 million, and they went through 2 elections that failed, and then the 3rd election, it passed by 1 vote, and then I found out my son-in-law at the time had cast that 1 vote, and I chewed on his butt over it here. But that place didn't used to be that way, and it was allowed, and then now
the problem with that building was that it changed hands initially. People had some big ideas on what they were going to do with it,
Yeah.
not just this last round, but both of them.
Yeah.
And they tore into it, and I think they found a lot of surprises. And I know right now the demolition that's going on, they found a hell of a lot of surprises in that building, as far as its construction and its unwillingness to cooperate about going to the ground. It was quite a building, and it is a shame to lose it, but it was kind of to the point where, what are you going to do? And here's, and don't take this out of text. That's just like when it was brought up at that TIF meeting. Well, let's just sell this old dinosaur. Okay, 2 things. First of all, who's going to buy it? And second of all, what the hell are you going to do with it? Now, if you buy it, are you going to do the repair on it? Or is the city going to have the same problem that the city of Seneca has down there with the building on their main street, where someone bought it, it got beyond repair, they can't afford to do anything with it, so the city's going to end up, to me, selling this building is a death sentence to this building, and it will be something that we will have to revisit in a decade, and where the taxpayers will end up paying to destroy part of Granby's history,
Yeah.
because they wouldn't step up. It's going to be an expensive endeavor. Okay, let me get back to my little plan here, and I'll tell you where I was going to take it with that. Like I said, I presented a plan to the TIF of building a community center type building on the south end of Dixon Park. You can set it back off Yoshio Street, allow for parking, the city already owns the property. Build it where the dimensions of it were much like this room, okay? And it would be 3 sliding dividers, we could turn it into 3 separate rooms. At one, you could walk into a hallway about with this, there'd be restrooms at the back, there would be a concession area. There would be a wall. In this wall would be 3 doors. So if it was partitioned off, you had 3 entrances. And far end of it, in the concession stand, there'd be a stage area. Okay, so you want to have senior dances down there and stuff like that. Build it friendly, think it all out to about anything he's going to have in there as far as a meeting hall. You know, also, it'd be centrally located. It'd be easier accessible as far as parking, all that stuff. You have your voting polls down there. During your mining town days, you can set vendors in there. You can use someplace with AC on for cool. In the winter, if the power was out, like we've seen ice storms before, where we're all set in the dark for weeks, somebody, warming center, it can be used. It would be a newer building, better insulated, better heat, better, something that the city could enjoy. The TIF could pay for it. Also, go up on the Osho Street, just like the initial plan was, build a new maintenance facility. Build it up. The TIF could swing that. The last part, which would pretty much wind the TIF's watch, would be to demo the building we're standing in and the maintenance wall. Leave nothing but the original structure. Okay. We collect the Parks and Recreation tax. I know there's some CDs with money in them, so it must be done. Build a budget, build it into a budget, where yearly we allot so much money for repair and restoration on this building. Right now it's usable. It might not be great, but it's usable. We have, basically we have a community center type area for kids to come play basketball, play volleyball, on the stage, we put a ceiling in there, have ping pong tables, pool tables, whatever. With this also comes Parks and Recreation Group that would oversee this, the new building down there, the ball field, be instrumental in our mining town days, basically everything that involves Parks and Recreation. A good one can pay his own salary and make the city. I think anyone that took up and took notice, noticed how the ballpark was busy as could be all summer long. You know, you get somebody in there that's hungry that wants to make this work. Man, we've had something going on all the time. And with ball tournaments comes people into town, come to our restaurants, go to our grocery stores, buy gas, buy beer, buy this, buy that. I mean, we're here to sell ourselves. And with every penny we bring in, it's revenue. We've got to open, we've got to sell the town to people. We can't just sit here. All right.
So what's wrong with this building here? It seems adequate to me.
It's hard to heat, it's hard to cool. If you don't paint it better in 2 years, the mold blooms through on the wall. It's just, I think, from a financial standpoint, and it makes this building look better. If you've ever seen pictures of this building when it was in its prime, which, you know, it was
Well,
open.
it's still distinctive. You know, it's the most distinctive.
Yeah, I mean, it was built in 34, and I read an article how it was the best looking building in Newton County. You know, this building has got a lot of history, and it could be made cool again. I enjoy old structures, but the thing about it is it takes money to keep them looking nice. You can't wait until the wall falls in on them and then say, boy, damn, I wish we'd done something with that.
Structurally, this building here is still sound, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they come in, had engineers come in, do a walkthrough on it, blah, 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 blah. I'm not structural engineer, just to be damn clear about that. But the findings that I got, and correct me if I'm wrong, were anything but clear. They sat in there and told us everything we needed to do. Well, you got to have a fire suppression system. You've got to do this. You've got to bridge this up. You've got to bridge. So then at the end of it all, that is if you've got 350 people in it.
Well, anything above 300 or more.
Yeah.
300 more. And I was gonna ask if that city council meeting, but Richard Oyster cut me off, why don't you simply pass an ordinance that no more than 299 can come into it?
Well, all you have to do is post it. I mean, I don't think that George Strait's gonna come to town and have a concert or anything like that. Basically, if we use it what it was basically designed for, I think we'll be fine. But it's gonna take money. If you go in there and look at it now, it's gonna need a seal put in it before. The ceiling's gonna start up. And it was the material that was used, and I'm sure, you know, at the time, I was great. Lord only knows how the ceiling is. But the restrooms need to be moved around and put more accessible. It needs a ceiling in the stage. It needs some money spent on it. But I have all the faith in the world that if we get a good budget and we work it and we put that money aside and we don't steal it to do something else stupid with, that by God, we can make it work. I mean, it's all in, make a plan, and by God, follow it. Don't take no for an answer. Don't take no for an answer. Because I can't do one damn thing. And if you have doubt about going in, you're not going to succeed.
Well, that's my number one concern. I mean,
It is something to be concerned about. And right now, I'm not going to drag on this for long. After this, I'm going to shut up. If anybody's got a question, I'm going to be more happy to answer. I'm not impressed with the TIF board's actions at all. I heard the TIF chairman, and I'm not grabbing anybody else, sat right beside me and said, right now we've got a lot bigger problems in that damn community.
How many people remember this building when it was first built?
I remember what he's talking about.
I mean,
Well, I don't.
We just seen pictures of it.
It was built in 33. I remember when Granby was painted on the roof and it was spelled wrong. Yeah. Do you have anything to do with that? Spelled Granby on the roof.
I'm probably one of the older guys in this town anymore. Sorry to say, but I am. I'm one of the better death threats. But anyway,
Unfortunately, you
God bless you. God bless you.
I got it home, but I tell you what, guys, I've been about as far north as the ship can go from Hong Kong, China. I wouldn't trade none of them for the good old United States of America and the States of Great Britain. Everybody goes, there's no more. These guys are saying, hey, I've gone for a long time. Where
So
did you
was
get
I.
that?
I was gone for 20 years. I was told the story.
All this stuff you guys are talking about, it can be fixed.
It
The
can.
right people, it can be fixed.
It can.
But you get, like you say, you gotta have cooperation.
The fix to it's easy. It's just done.
You know, you can talk about it all day long, all night long.
Yeah.
But if you don't get that, something not done, it's just gonna stay right here. It's gonna be stable.
Well, and a term that really, if it's ever spoken out in public, someone should be flawed with a buggy wood, and that's what it's always been. I've heard that so damn much that it's just good. And you know, maybe it used to be okay doing it that way, but as time passes, you got to roll with the changes. You got to roll with the changes. And I tell you what, you know, I find myself resistant to change more and more, so that must mean I'm getting younger too. But people get set in their ways, and I'm not saying it's a sin and it's wrong, but the biggest deal is when you're asked why you're doing it, have an explanation, not just say because. You know, I mean, to me, why are we doing this way? Well, because we've always done it. That's not an answer.
I did an ordinance. Why is this building built? And who built it? It's WPA.
Yeah, along with Babs.
WPA didn't build that building. They started, no, they did not. They started it quick. Investors right here in Granby, Missouri finished that for a school. Private money finished that building.
My mother played
WPA.
basketball.
It's in the history.
You're looking for something to argue about.
True fact.
All right, let's get the other guy to the floor.
All right, we'll see.
Okay.
I've been out of the loop. All I want to know is where we're at with the sewer problem. Are we working on it, or we've had our taxes and our rates raised, where are we at? Are we doing anything?
It's kind of like this, Cooper. Here's what I'll say about it. The rates were raised, okay? Because they should have been raised a long time ago.
I agree with that.
No one sounded the bell that we were in trouble. A lot of people should have, a lot of people didn't. Here we ended up. I think right now we've got a guy, an operator, that is trying his best. Right now the problem is funding. Money. It's going to take a lot, but we ain't got much.
So our rates, are we building this up to start this project?
No, we're moving along as quickly as possible. We're working on trying to, I voted for it personally. I don't like trying to borrow your way out of problems. I don't. But in some instances you have to. And as far as I know, they're moving forward. What we voted on to get a line of credit per se to take care of some of these issues that have to be done. And there is a hell of a list.
So now are we working on the figures that they had in paper that how our whoever it was, the engineer projected?
I'm not throwing anybody under the bus on this deal. There was a meeting held with the DNR here a month or so ago. Our mayor and one all of them went to it. I didn't know a damn thing about it. Till it was over.
The sewer man didn't know nothing.
I also know that there was a meeting with Gene Spears, the sewer operator, and one alderman before a council meeting 3 weeks ago. And I didn't know anything about it till after it was over.
So our rates are raised on this projected figure that Gene gave us, is that what we're saying? To meet this figure or?
That's
Okay, my next question is if there is an over budget on this, are our rates going up again, or what are we going to do? We have to have a plan B somewhere here.
well, there's always a plan B.
What is it?
I don't know. Like I said, I was really surprised they called me and tell me what the damn meetings are
I
going.
think there's some allowance in there.
That's what I'm.
For over, yeah.
But if we overrun that, then what do we do?
Stop when we've got the money.
So can we stop?
We're meeting, right now we're working the meetings, the DNR today. And those are our first, that's our priority. To get back on their record.
And we're on a timeline on that.
Yeah.
It's rapidly approaching.
And we went 2.5 years for them counties to do something, saying, yeah, we got on.
This is kind of what we're looking at. Just to summarize, we've got lift stations that've got pumps that need to, that have to, okay, that have been let go like that for some time without anyone's knowledge. We've got pumps that were wired direct, that the motherboard stuff that operates it has been burned up for hell knows. We've got valves in our plant down here that wouldn't close. We've got, the list is long and hard. And some of these problems are hard. Daily, we've had approved tires for the sludge truck, all these large flotation tires that keep getting stuck all the time. Wasting sludge, putting it on wheels. I mean, the list is, I think we have to agree, it's overwhelming to sit down there and every time. And Victor is the same. Because, I mean, it comes down to every time he's in front of us, he's asking for more money. And it's everything we've got to have and we've got to do. I mean, there's no alternative to it. It is, I want, it's we've got to have.
I agree with that. We're, like you said, there's not money here. So if we run over this estimate, where's the money here? Do we go borrow this money or what do we do?
Well, here's the problem also, and I warned this. And I spoke about, and Jim spoke about one other thing. There's a lot of false hopes pinned on, we'll get a low interest loan big hopes and dreams in and expect. I mean, especially when you're dealing with the government. Now, if we wanted to build a launch pad for a, intergalactic, something the government would be right there for us. But this is something we really need, so they're bailing us. But they haven't bailed us. They set the criteria that it's like, you guys get it at this point, and we'll talk again. But they're, as everyone's aware of, there's some other issues coming up last week. So I wish I could.
Can't talk about it.
No.
Can't talk about it.
We were instructed not to. I will say that, Larry.
It's back to my room.
What's over? I'll get to you soon.
Again, that goes back to what I said a while ago about us spending money that we shouldn't be spending because when we need it now, we don't have it. We pay, just like I said, I'm not just paying one call, but for 3 years now, and who knows how much will be left, but we know now for 3 years. And she's got raises and stuff like that. So, and the overtures that we've paid for the last 3 years, we've been paying for some of the stuff that we need to.
Well, I agree, but we gotta get it up. Give it to the state, give it away. It's not good enough.
With the rates on our sewer rates and our water, and our sewer rates, how much is that going to generate a year?
I haven't heard of one particular figure. Gene Spears came up with it's gonna, and like I say,
Whatever that is, you don't even have the idea how much it's going to generate.
well, like I say, some of these secret meetings that we've done, and actually, in a budget meeting that right, this is going to have to kind of play out a little bit, and actually see what it is going to generate. Kind of answer your question. I can't.
How are we going to come up with this other money if we don't have enough? If we have to do it ourselves, where are we going to get it at?
So they're going to borrow it and they're going to secure it with the CDs.
That's what I want to know.
See some of the problems.
That's what I want. That's the answer.
Some of the
It's
other
gonna be an
problems.
admin up here, they're not gonna borrow $250,000.
Yeah. But something that I don't.
If something that bad happens, the money is there.
Something else.
They'll pay interest on one.
What's your action?
Yeah, something else that a lot of people aren't aware of. We still owe over $1 billion on the sewer system we've got.
But the sad part is they should have been doing the maintenance on it if they had to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of
I
like.
mean, that's back before any of you guys were on it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's been overlooked for years.
it's kind of like you said, like, you kept going and you drive, don't change the oil, don't do this. And eventually, you're either going to have to buy a new car or really work with the job. So that's the sad part is the maintenance hasn't been done.
No oversight.
Well, in my opinion, of course, in my opinion, that SBR is working with staff.
I don't think it works for any town.
No, but look forward to Granby, Missouri, and how we ended up with it out of the. But it's not efficient enough for this meeting. It just don't work like that.
My understanding is it was cheap, it was considered new technology, and there's grants about it.
Right.
And I think right now, so we got the only.
Are we the only city that was?
City. No.
Yeah, that's part of starting in the city hall.
I'll tell you what, it'd be a hell of a lot easier telling you what I won't do the same.
Is that wrong?
You're damn right it is. There'll be a total restructure of everything. It's pretty apparent that there's not one department in this town that's operating 100%.
Well, and I'm like saying, right, we're really here.
Well, I'm not, that was not much to any
No,
extent.
well, there's places that stuff that we need to do. Well, just like,
Oh, yeah.
like I told you, I brought to the attention of the council, the water rate increase, that was fine. But I told them, I said, if we do that, I'm gonna take that and show people in Granby their quality of water. I said, well, I'm not done to create safety. And that's one of the deals that I want, that's where some of one of my departments.
And I've been here for 20 years, and I will say, over 20 years, the last time my street, Jerry, got plowed was the day when the neighbor got their shoulder out. Yes, over here, and we couldn't get out of the road. And some guy with a truck, not the city, came through and plowed for us. This year, what is it now?
Well, that wasn't then, as I was towards any department I'm saying, it all starts down here. The city, the council, and the mayor. Without, it all starts right there. If the department heads don't have the backing, right down there, and there's not a good working relationship, then, your employees are only as good as their boss. If you've got a horrible boss, you can have the best employees in the world. If you don't lead by example, don't ask anybody to do something you wouldn't do. I can't know everything. I don't know a damn thing about any sewer operator. I don't know a damn thing about water or gas. But they had to start a fire truck. We need all you guys. We need you. Yeah. And I mean, somebody asked me the other day, what I was going to do, something to do with the water department. And I said, hell, I don't know. I'm not going to fix it. It's what we got jail for. And I mean, I wasn't being a smart ass about it, but they didn't elect me to go out and dig ditch, fix water leak, or go around a sewer plant, or put out fires, or go arrest people, They elected me to make sure you guys had what you needed and could do it. And I don't think there's a bad department in town. Do I think there's? Yeah. There's just, and I've never been able to get a straight answer out of a city that I've heard this about. I'll start to see why. But I've heard the city of Joppa has people. And it's kind of like you and I had the discussion on the way it's keyed in and the way it's, QuickBooks and stuff like that is an amazing program. And it can do your payroll for you. And it can do everything for you. And all it takes is entering the right thing in the right place and pushing the right button. And you've got her handled. And the way we're running right now, guys, I'm not kidding you. And it's not from not asking and not trying to know. I couldn't honestly sit here and put anything on it that I care to lose and tell you, bet with you, that I can tell you how much money is in any account in this city.
Oh, hey, dude.
All he's trying to do is pool your money and distribute it out of the general fund.
Yeah.
So that you can track it,
Yeah. And at any time y'all go, you should be able to walk out, punch it in the computer, and it ought to tell you how much has been spent, how much is there, how much. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. And, but like I say, I'm not gonna blame anyone in particular. I'm just,
Tell you what, we need to go up.
well, now,
My taxes, I expect you to take care of business.
let me finish, Gary. Damn it. I wonder where I get my never had to argue with the damn self. It is our fault right now, but I'm saying as far as getting to where it's at, it's
Yeah,
from,
because nobody's held accountable.
that's where I was headed.
Everybody's afraid you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. When you're dealing with our money, cities, we collect you to take care of it. It shouldn't matter who's doing it.
Amen.
I agree.
So what can we do then? Why, everybody keeps saying, well, I don't like follow, well, there's the answer, which would be like,
It isn't.
so why, if we had business and you had an employee like that, like you said earlier, we would fire him, so why isn't something being done about this person? Is this the council's decision to do this?
Yes, it is.
Are you trying to make me say something out loud?
No, I
You don't know well. You get your damn turn. You don't know well.
I mean, she answers to the council, correct?
Yes.
No.
So you said that Jim was doing his job, she fired Jim. So, same scenario, why don't we just eliminate that problem then?
Why don't we?
Well, come Tuesday night, why don't the two of you do that?
Good idea.
Good idea, we should have that.
Well, what's ours, baby?
That is your big
Just
problem.
like the meeting one night, he said, it depends on the county collector in the office. Isn't that right?
We obviously can't let a system bleed out. And I feel like right now we've got a system bleeding out. And it's city funds, it's city money. And I said last year, this is what I said last year, I said, we're going to okay an overage of $8,000 approximately, somewhere around $8,000. I said, this can't happen again. And so that's a year to try to fix the problems and patch the leaks. So as it turns out this year, we're right back in the same situation again. We've got another $10,000 overage. And of course, the meeting went another direction, but the thing about it, I was telling Travis, I said, it's hard to explain to the citizens of Granby why we are over on our budget, our accounting, in the tune of 18 grand. It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of things that can be done. If you have, and I know Travis says passions and visions for the town, positive visions, we agree and we disagree on some, just logistics problems more than anything. But those problems have to be fixed. It's a hard thing to do anytime you're dealing with personnel, because you're dealing with families and people and kids, and not that necessarily this, but you do end up dealing with those types of things. But then there comes a time when you have to just pull the plug and say we can't do this anymore this way. And then you make the necessary decision. That's a hard decision, but a necessary one. And then, it's, like I said, I felt like as an individual, I can try to see if this can be fixed in a year's time. And I just didn't see it fixed.
But I know 3 years ago, when I was in that same exact position, I remember looking at her and getting agreement from everybody that was on the council at that time. We said the same thing. Yes, it is.
So it's
Very little thing.
it's an overdue situation. Well, what I do,
I think that's great.
I deal with people. But you have a council basically, they have a vision of their own, something that's positive for the town, what they feel like they can do, what they can accomplish. But as council member, you're 25% of what is inputted. You try to help the mayor fulfill an agenda that he has set forth, and most of the time they're good. I remember when I came on, it was R.L. Arnold had a lot of good things to do and things to see accomplished. Obviously, that didn't get to go forth. And from that point, it's been kind of a battle obtaining good information. It's helpful on the council, and that's one positive thing. I think that Travis is delivering good counsel, positive information, whether it's good information, whether it's bad information. It's something we can look at and say, this is what's accurate. If you send me, if I look at your checkbook and you say, there's $100 in there, we can spend 75 of it. But so you spend 75 of it buying something. But in all actuality, there's actually only 50 in there because 50 is promised somewhere else. I have to know that. I have to know there's only actually $50 in that check account and not 100. So I'm looking for some positive changes there. I believe there will be some serious moves in areas of personnel in order for the new council in April to move forward. I think there's going to be some things that are changed, and I look forward to the positive. Sometimes something that looks bad on the front is actually a good thing on the back side. And Travis said a really good thing. He says that the people in this town have some of the best ideas about what can improve the town than the five that sit on the council to listen to what they have to say. I'll be honest with you, it's a difficult thing for me to deal with personnel because of feelings, personalities, and other people that are involved. But that's why we're elected, to do some things that sometimes are hard.
But you have to remember you're using our money to pay them.
Exactly.
Not your money, our money.
If you never forget whose money it is, and sometimes in Washington they forget whose money it is. And
You're saying that changes need to be made for the next council. Does that mean you're going to wait for the next council?
Might as well.
You've only got.
I can't say yes or no on that. I know that positive things have to change quickly.
So why wait? Why wait?
There's like I said, I've told Travis, nobody else here that's on the council right now. I don't like making personnel decisions with not a full council, even though if it's a necessity, we could do it.
But the way I look at it, you all sat up there and voted not to have a full council. So
Right.
therefore, what I see is the three that's on there is our council at
They
this
are.
time. So it shouldn't be, I mean, that's the way I see it. I'm sure there's supposed to be
Well,
bylaws or
at-
something like that. And it was voted.
At the time of that, obviously, these new things have been brought to the forefront, to the light.
Okay.
And we didn't have this new audit come through, and we didn't have the overages at that time, but, that's,
I have a question. If, I know there's three of you, and we know that one is not going to go to fire. If the two of you were to go to fire, finding Amy, the whole town knows she's the problem. And why all of you can't say, oh, Garcelle, I don't have to work. She's the problem, she needs fixed. And she's gone, because you tried for 3 years to fix it.
And these overtures have been going on for 3 years. It's not like it's surprising.
But the deal is, you can get and I don't have a problem doing this. You've got to cut the snake off the head.
You can't do exactly what they have to work with.
Well, these guys act like they're willing to make changes. They're just gonna have to go there. Yeah. You already got
Hey, Travis, that's the band center. That's the band coming out of it.
But when it comes to personnel issue, as a department head, I can say, there are just certain things they cannot publicly say, otherwise it's going to cost the city a lawsuit.
I realize that, but I'm just letting them know what's gonna happen if they don't take care of it. We will go around here with papers and then we'll be forced to do it when they want to. I'm just letting you know.
You see how a petition is run, and it is about enforcement issue no matter what you do. A petition is not a law behind.
Right, it's not.
But it's telling them this is what we want.
Everybody.
They really cannot sit here and say, and then have chat with the paper text you. We're firing the car.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah, something needs to be done. It needs to be stopped. This has been going on for too many years. It's costing us too much money. We gave her a raise for doing a good job, and then we find out, oh, she's not.
Sewer man got a raise too, I might. The sewer man got a raise too.
Yeah, but he's already gone, so we don't have to worry
I'm
about
not
it.
trying to pick on the state. I'm going on because I understand it. You know, I've talked to people here in town. I've lived here all my life. And, you know, I always consider City Hall, right? It's a business. Because you have money coming in, you got money going out, and that money, like everybody has said, belongs to the citizens of Granby. And when the citizens sit and watch this year after year, it's kind of like this. If I was running a business, I don't care how much I like her, I don't care if she was family. If she's not doing her job, I would tell her, you have
Everyone was invited.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is just an observation. You don't know exactly, you have hopes as to how this upcoming election, 3 weeks ago Monday, is going to wind up. But on the other hand, if you, right now, it seems like 2 of you were in somewhat of agreement not to show up to one meeting. The other one isn't. Seems to me you got, what, 3 council leaders on the council here. You got 2 in some sort of agreement. You don't know exactly how the election's going to go. Well, you should. So 4, if you're going to get something done, well, you have 2 against 1, that might be a time to do it.
Yeah, but they still can't say what they're going to do.
No, I'm saying that at all. There has to be some procedures. The second is the point, is that it seems like you got 2 votes against 1. You don't know how it's going to go ahead and go exactly. Well, a month.
I see where you're headed. I'm not going to comment on it. I see where you're headed.
Just a parable.
I think he's saying practice.
I'll still be in there.
All I have question is, who's the gentleman in the black shirt that's sitting up there beside him?
That's what I'm doing. It's a real experience here. Come to find out how really screwed up HCD is.
You are running for mayor.
I'm running from here.
And what's your name for
My
mayor?
name's Charles Fish.
Charles Bish. So what are your plans as mayor?
Well, I'm trying to figure this out. Like I said, it's screwed up.
Yeah, it is. So
I've
why
heard
you
about
not
this.
mayor?
I've heard what?
Why are you not mayor?
Like I said, it's a learning experience. Did you read the paper? Did you read the paper about when it first came on? When they asked me? Newspaper company asked me.
I want to know if you're not aware of these current issues.
Well, I know. I've seen this stuff. I've lived here for about, I think, 16 years now.
But you're saying that you're telling us that you're learning.
I'm learning about what's going on. I don't know exactly what's going on because a lot of this stuff is just not really
As a
public
voter, I
record.
would want you to know that before you read it.
That's why I'm not. Maybe I can get
I
something
know
done.
I'm
Maybe I can get something done.
I'm fishing for you. I want to know why I should vote for you. Because right now, I'm not happy you can't.
Join the crowd. You're in the majority right now.
That's why I come over to. If you don't like it, maybe you run.
Well, sir,
Somebody told me that, and I won't mention any names, but if you don't like it, maybe run. Different.
the thing of it is, sir, is Mr. Bishop,
Chuck.
we are in dire straits right now.
Yeah, no, I can tell. I can see
And
what's
in
going
a month,
Yeah.
election day,
Sorry.
give or take.
3 weeks.
In a month, okay, in a month, we'll say, if you would win it, you're going to go into a chair that we need somebody that knows what's going on. We need somebody that has paid enough attention to know, has some kind of idea. You can't sit in the chair. We can't afford to have someone sit in that chair and it's not something you can pick up on the run. You've got to have some kind of idea of what is going on. You can't learn on the job. We can't afford to let you learn on the job.
I'm not saying that I'm not trying to learn the job, but I've seen the last 3 years of certain subject that they've been talking about. I think you were just talking about it a while ago, about the audit. Every last 3 years in a row. If there's a problem there, we need to fix it. When you fix it, it goes to city council. And it needs to be voted, and that person needs to be taken care of. No matter what the feelings are of these people, it still needs to be taken care of. Because we can't afford to keep going doing that because it keeps putting us back. And every year, like you said, what was it, $18,000 this year, $7,000 last year? It's something got to be done. So that's just the thing. It's got to be right. And no matter what somebody's feelings are. I know Paul. Really.
But the question is, if you've not kept up on everything,
I have.
what's going
After the first year, I agree 100%, something should have been done with the city clerk. After that, these guys have been on and off, so the council is the bottom line. Somebody dropped the ball for 6 years in a row, not just personnel. You got to go, the mayor, just day-to-day operations. I'm saying the last 5 years, same way as you've been in trouble before. The minute it goes away, I hope this council, when the audit's done, they can get out of it and bring up the next year. It's a hot topic at the time, then it goes to what's up. We've had a lot of problems with our sewer flow. We had to start our check that flow. It started a long time ago. Prior to that, it's due to money, possibilities. So I've seen, been plenty of council meetings, we don't have the money for that. And then DNR's off the bat. I'm sorry, the councils, I'm not saying this last time, all this stuff has built up years to get to the point where we're at. It's going to take years to get out there. Let's stop. I want to stop planning. Well, we've done it this way every year. It's got to stop somewhere. We've got to start trying to figure out a way to go forward. And that's where I think that I do. Travis had a good suggestion when he was talking about. We've got 4 council members. Have Ira kind of oversee wastewater. Like Travis has a department, I'm saying, have each council be kind of in charge of that department.
Be a contact.
Right, contact person. That way, they can get all that information. When the council gets back together, they can discuss, because he spent most of his time getting all this information together. Say, here's what they like, this is what we need. I think that would be a great thing to do, whether I'm elected or not. Councilmen each take their own priority to get information to bring back to the rest of the council. Because it seems like every year, it's something like the audit, it's been happening 6 years. 3 months from now, I don't hear anything about the audit. How it's going to be that good. Until next year, it's something about the state on top of it. Granby, that is the city clerk's job. She has a boss, which is your mayor. Her boss is the council. You're saying it's just him. New council, we have a new council every year. Or the possibility of having the council change year. And that is where we're going to have to get on board together. And people will come in, keep it going, stop the spending, or leave. We're going to pay for it. One kudos I give this council is the raising the rates. They down the bottom, the rest of the council will have that. They're right.
Good stuff.
Nobody looked at the line 5 years ago. You got to go right there, so. It'd be right there. And that is due down to the council. Council has control, tell the mayor what to do, and the triggers. I'm not saying city clerk should, but the councils business. Everyone thinks they're non-profit. You ain't gonna do it. You gotta be a profit to maintain. There's issues right in this town now. What is your trash rate?
Oh, we're senior citizens, they said 95. It's 9.95.
So there is a cut rate for senior citizens.
Yeah, we get you, I'm sorry. Yeah. We get 4 bags.
I'm saying,
That was.
I'm saying there's issues to be checked into. I have a shop here in town. I work at another shop. I have a shop. My shop, I pay more for service at my shop than I do at my home if I people in my home.
I remember the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, but I did not know about the senior citizen discount.
Well, you have to go down and tell them, you know, they have a requirement for supposed to change it.
But
I think it's 65 years.
65 years. If not, no, both people in the household have to be 65, and we're not going down and tell them.
Well, I know, but it's, even if it's just an unpaid,
Why not?
70.
Why not?
I want to push back a little bit on one thing that you said about previous councils, because I can't speak for everyone else that was on the council when I was, but I can say that the audit was not immediately forgotten, because I would go to the city clerk maybe once a month, every other month, and say, hey, are we still paying attention to this? Are we making progress on these things? And I was told that we were.
There is some, a council has to work together.
True.
I mean,
Now, I'm
not saying that there hasn't been good out there in council. Some of the direction, and I apologize.
But I agree that in general, that you're probably right, but not in every case.
I didn't mean to offend you.
No.
I mean, there's been stuff, good stuff this council has took and been voted down too.
Sure.
I trust me, the citizens don't forget about the audits and everything else, because we all, especially in summertime, we don't have fences, but we meet out there and we're discussing stuff. But if the clerk tells him, if I tell you, I'm growing tomatoes, and you don't come by my house, and you call me up every once in a while and say, how are those tomatoes doing? And I say, they're doing great, and I ain't got a tomato in the summer. You don't know that. How is the council supposed to know if the city clerk says, hey, yeah, don't worry, I got it covered, I got your back, it's all taken care of. We're using the antiquated DOS system to do our taxes. And, okay, it's okay, don't worry about it. I just want to know you now. I'm going to go.
Because you asked for records. I mean, you have to trust somebody, any
That's what
employee.
you're working.
And I'm not saying that I would not. I have faith in people. But if I went to somebody, I would want to see the records up and, again, where I work. I don't want him to take my word for it when he's out of town. I want to prove to him how the money got there. That's any business. You have a certain amount of trust, but you have to keep an eye.
There are very few people that, as a record are right now, don't even understand what they even, how to communicate. And I'm hoping that as the new council takes place, that all that will be simplified, where anybody can come in and know what the monies are at any given time.
You trust me, I'll be able to give you. Once in a while, you want to say that much,
job, whatever like that, you can't, maybe you should, you can't camp out there and try to siphon through books. Somehow that's got to be simplified.
To me, if you've got somebody competent, that is good, that is your clerk, you shouldn't have to work when they lay that piece of paper down in front of you what those numbers are. If they are doing their job correctly, everybody makes a mistake now and then, but if they're doing that job correctly, those numbers are true.
And all I need to know is what is an accurate number.
Is those numbers. You shouldn't have to sit there and go, well, I don't know. And when you take it home, it doesn't come out right. And you question it. You should know when you sit out there, that clerk is smart enough and doing her job right, that you shouldn't have to question it. Like I said, yes, there's mistakes made. Everybody makes it. And I'm sure there would be a mistake here and there. But not to the point where, just kind of like you said, you sit down and you don't know if those numbers, if they were just reached out, somebody reached out and put it down in the sky and put it down there.
I have to assume that they should be accurate, but
But by the track record, they're not.
exactly.
So that right there tells you pretty plain that you can't trust the numbers that is in front of you because you know that that job isn't being done correctly. That's a proven fact.
And the thing about the city government, with your mayor can camp out at their desk and find out what's going on here. What are we having trouble with? What are we not having trouble with? Where's our problems at? And get to the bottom of the problem. If the mayor will not do that, then it's just left renegading. And so that's what ends up happening. I agree with what you're saying. You have to.
The mayor's not doing it, we should have a board mayor pro tem.
Right.
Yeah, if you have one.
We have to realize,
And
if the mayor doesn't, if the mayor or the alderman is not following up after that, then basically they stand at the mercy of the people. And they'll find somebody that can or not.
My folks always used to say, it was a saying of my mother, that when the gravy train goes by, there's a lot of people riding on it. But the ones that always stay on it are the ones that know that if they get off, that they'll never get back on. So they have to be booted on.
Now that's good saying.
And I know that they're, like I said, I don't want to wreck on Paula anymore. But she's rode that train to death. And she will never get off of it on her own. I mean, why would you? My God, if you're making that kind of salary for warming a chair.
one thing you have to realize too, the report you guys get at your first council meeting of the month is already 2 weeks old. Because that's the end of the month. And that's kind of where to me the mayor should be able, or the mayor pro tem, as Mayor said, watch that period of time to see if there is any major expenses or something bad. So you have $100 when you're looking at it, but you have $100. I mean, that's something you have to realize. Your reports are already, because you meet the second Tuesday of the month, they're already 14 days old.
Another problem that we have with our reports is, and it kind of comes back to, and I'm not riding it on the ground either, it's just procedure-wise, is that basically the reports we get aren't, the best I can tell, aren't generated by QuickBooks. They are.
Well, she's probably putting them in like an Excel spreadsheet. She's putting the answers in her.
And I know I'll correct her response. At the end of We need to know what they are. And something that I would push for hard is, and it can get quite complicated, but I think as a mayor and alderman, it's a necessity. And to not care is a travesty. And that is, I would like to see every cent that the town spends. I want to see what we spend on everything from gasoline to miscellaneous to, I want to know, and I want to know what departments charge it. And I want to know why we spend it.
How much it costs to be
Yeah, I mean, everything should be broken down right there in front of you. It's no different than your household. You don't just hit all the high spots and what you spend.
I mean, you don't get your gas tax in all.
No, not that I know of. But more detail, more.
Well, even if they run the report like they do at the end of the month, and then run you a QuickBooks report the Friday before you have council meeting, at least you have a closer general idea of what's been spent in this 2 weeks.
Well, not always.
Well, it's my understanding that the report runs from first council meeting month to first council meeting next month. She don't do
It should be why not from the first of the month to the end of the month? Because we always did it that way. Not when me and Joe were there. We used to 30th. I'm sorry, I had to do that. Isn't that right, Joe? It wasn't from council meeting to council meeting. It was a 30-day or 31-day period. That's the reason why I said it was a 2-week period when you had your first council meeting. But you could run something out of QuickBooks like on Friday when you have council meeting on Monday. They could run it out of QuickBooks on Tuesday, not just before the meeting. They could.
Well, I'd just like to see it more in depth.
But it should be definitely a 30-day or 31-day.
Yeah.
First to the 30th or 31st.
I don't like those ends. I don't like unexplained expenses. And I don't like, I want to know where the money's from. I want to know how much money Jim Chandler spends in a month. I don't want to know what he spent on gas, what he spent on this, what he spent on that. I want to know if he went and spent $50 at the car show. I'm waiting for it. And it's not to be a control freak or anything. There's time to spend, but I want to know if there's a recurring expense. I want to know on fuel. I want to know what vehicle. I want to know if gas judgment. Is it low, growing? That's the way that you keep track of your budget. If you just at the end of the year say, okay, the public works department spent $20,000 on fuel. And I mean, okay, on what? You know, and with fuel like it is, depending on what happens across the pond, you know, you could have a year where you could run over your fuel expenses by thousands of dollars, or a year like this where we ought to come out pretty good. But you've got to be able to look at those numbers and take into account and have some foresight into it and be planning ahead. Take worst case scenario, because, you know, there's nothing like figuring out your checkbook and figuring out you got more money in there than you thought you had. But it really comes out on the short end of the stick whenever if you just, for instance, this year, okay, fuel expenses have been down for 2-3 months, almost 50%. That's what you're paying in the pump. Well, it's not going to last. But hypothetically, say by July we're paying $4 a gallon. Okay. So next year, when we do a proposed budget, are we going to look at this year's expenditures and figure that in for fuel expense? Because if you do, you're cutting your own throat that quick. You're automatically going to be way, way under budget. You need to be realistic, and you need to do your homework, and you need to think about it. And it's not just one person's job to think about it. I have always been absolutely, I think the flag word, amazed to say that a city clerk, any city clerk, was responsible for a budget. I mean, no. It should be the mayor's job to present a preliminary budget. It should be the mayor's job to set and take the time to look at and know in your mind what you spent last year. You know,
That should be your department heads too, like your public works or school.
yeah, it should.
Those guys should put their
But the-
input on it
The
too.
mayor itself should have a grasp of it, and you
Right.
should be able to be provided with the paperwork. And it shouldn't be like, trying to find the holy grail by finding the right paperwork. It needs to be easy accessible. And, I mean, it all plays in together. Like I said at the beginning, this all starts and stops in one place. And I've heard it said again and again, and this is not ragging on anybody. I'm just saying that my expectations are that a small community either thrives or fails at City Hall. It's not a department head's job to know everything, but it is a department. Okay, for instance, until last month, and I know they all saw it, it might have been a month before. Excuse me. The department heads never saw their monthly expenditure, the report we get. They never saw it. So who's to say, and this is not an accusation, but who's to say that there's $1,000 in Jacob's expenses that shouldn't have been charged to Jacob's? Well, if that department head doesn't look over that department head should see that days before the council sees it, and he should initial it, and he should make a copy of it, and he should keep it on file. I'm not going to win any friends and department heads over this, but I feel like that the department head should be held directly accountable for the money he spends, not the city clerk. That's not really part of her job. It's her job to do the books, but it's not her job to chase all these department heads around. It's not her job to tell the department heads where they are in their damn budget. But they need a realistic budget to start with. They need to keep track of it. We do. And if we were using QuickBooks right, all it would take is a punch of a button and they could see exactly where they were at. So, and this is where I'd like to hold people to a higher standard on it. Whereas, for instance, fuel, because that's something that's very vital. Say your fuel expenses, you're going to be over budget in the 10th month of the fiscal year. That department head needs to know why. And he needs to be figured out why. Because if that number was good for a couple of years or close, and all of a sudden there's a spike in it, why is that? And he needs to be held accountable for it, not that person at City Hall. I mean, I'm not throwing anybody a rope here, but I'm just saying that the whole system is broke, and it's broke back, and it's because the way we do things, maybe it used to work, but the Model T was a fabulous piece of machinery when it came out. But, we've got to move with the times. I'm set in my ways too, but by God, whenever there's things out there that make it easy, do it. And I hate a person that is busy all the time because they want to look busy. You haven't got to act busy if you're that good. But there's no accountability. There's none. You screw up, all you got to do is say, I'm sorry. And hell, you don't really have to say that. And it's just, okay, and like I say, I'll take the blame for as much of this as anybody wants to blame me for. Because I'm part of this. But I know that it hasn't been received with open arms moving forward with technology. Because it will be, and I'm not standing here and blow smoke if anybody's telling about this. Don't expect, if you elect me as mayor a year from now, don't expect everything to be peachy and rosy, because it damn sure won't. 2 years from now. Well, it's took a long time to screw this up. I can make it better, but as far as my long-term goal is, yeah, I agree. Yeah, but yes, but as far as having surplus of funds and being where we can really be comfortable, it's going to take several years to get there. it's gonna take some changes. And like I said, a lot of people aren't, you know, because everybody wants changes until it affects them. And then when it affects them, well, it's gonna affect them. But, you know, sometimes that's what it takes. You know, everybody dreads change until after the change, and then most people stand around and say, why didn't we do that all the time? No matter what it is. I mean, it's like, wow, this is so much easier. You know, how did we ever get in that place in time? It'll be hard. The thing is, it's going to take diligence. And staying in touch with the community. I mean, when we raise the rate, you know, I'd have these town hall meetings once a month. I mean, obviously, all the council can't be here without being considered a city meeting. But I'd be all for 2 council members a month coming down here 1 month, mayor and all, and meet with people and see them, because we're all guilty of it. You know, we run in our own circle. We're friends with this one now. Well, I think that what we're guilty of is in the election season, everybody's friendly. Everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to shake your hand. But then after we're elected, we got 2 years, they don't like it, run my house. And with that philosophy, it's just not that, it doesn't pan out. Like I say, I'm not in town as much as I was earlier, but I want to know what people think. And as everybody saying, I'm not short on words, but just, you know, I want to know. Hell, that's how you learn. If you don't learn something new every day, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. But without input, then you just do what your gut tells you. You know? And maybe what my gut tells me about something is nothing like what you're thinking. But if you don't tell me what you're thinking, how am I to know? I mean, you know, this is an elected, these are elected positions. And I don't, my thoughts on this, I don't think there's anybody in this room that woke up and thought, I'm going to vote for Granby because that guy thinks just like me on everything. No matter what, he's dead on. No, I'm here to represent you and to listen. Sometimes we make some decisions that are not maybe with, but what people need to understand, and I hear this at every council meeting about how secret they were, this and that and this and that. I don't like it either. I can stand here, I heard you both, stand here for 2 or 3 hours and tell you things that make you stand mad and see straight. We're bound by our position. When we go into those closed session meetings, I despise it. I despise it. Because I think it's a damn good place to hide and talk. I won't say anything to anyone behind their back and say to their face. They might not like it, but I'm sorry. And I expect the same about other people. That deal, the closed session, is supposed to be 3 things: hiring, disciplinary. That's it. But unless I'm wrong, we don't have to do that. We can do it in open forum. Open. We can do it all out. But there's some things that are maybe personnel issues that maybe shouldn't, but maybe they should be later, not just, that's it, you'll never hear about this. And I think that there's a lot of thoughts and thinking that we go back there and sit back there and we're plotting against all of them. None of it. And when we come out, it's, there's certain things which I always get screwed up because like these people said that they got cards taped off the desk and I guess I don't break it and read what you're going to say when people win on it when you come on that club or you. Anyway, you have to come out and make a statement. And I know there was at least one person very disappointed the other night when they came out and said that there was no action taken. Well, okay. Now let me walk the razor's edge here on what I should and shouldn't say because of what I'm bound by. Okay. I think what the perception was in the room, what was going in there to be talked about, was not right going in there.
Give us a vote. No vote taken. Nothing said. Go home.
Hey, listen, I think everyone in this town should have to sit on. I think they ought to make it sit on. I think they ought to make it because I tell you what the view you have when you run for election is, I tell you what, 2 years they'll be having Travis Gamble days instead of money. I'm going to take this place. Rome's going to have a damn thing on me when I'm there. That's not the case. You go into it rather naive, and then as time goes on, you see the cold hard reality of it, and you see there are some things, no matter how dedicated you are, no matter how driven you are, that you are just flat running up against the brick wall. And there was nothing. Most of the time, and I think you'll agree, we go into a closed session. There's nothing to vote on. There's nothing brought up that is a topic to be voted on. It is, I will agree, it was worded wrong because what should have been said the other night was this was about litigation. Okay? That's what it was. I agree whenever it comes out that
A potential litigation or
litigation, potential. But whenever we come out, I think it should be better described why we were in it. It shouldn't be don't y'all wish you did. I mean, that's, and it comes back to communication between us and you guys, the voters and the citizens. I know a lot of stuff that I know I'm making light of this, but it's all very serious. But at times it's so ridiculous that you can't do anything like it because you can't believe that the city operates like it does. I mean, hell, I'm amazed that we do operate, knowing what I know. And like I say, I think we both like to sit here and tell you everything. And someday I will. Again, I'm wrong. And there's times I would love to walk out there and tell everybody what I just had to say. And there's times I've left there when my blood pressure was so high, I was surprised my head didn't walk my shoulders because I wasn't there. But you have to decide if you want to stay there and stay on board and do what you went there for, or throw it all away over a ticket. And It is easy, because I done the same thing, Pat. I sat in the audience for 2 years. At times so pissed off I couldn't see straight, is what I saw. Now I'm just sitting in another chair, I feel the same way. But, there's times that, you know, like I say, maybe that is something we're gonna work on. I mean, obviously we can't come out and just say, okay, we talked about this and this and this and this, and we're getting ready to be sued over this, or you just can't do it. In one aspect, it's because you're showing your hand. You just can't do it. You don't just blurt a lot of things out. I don't agree with it. That's just the way the law is. Somebody asked me when I wrote it. But don't always sell us short because you think that we've got a cult going back. Because that's not the case. As far as I'm concerned, other than pending or upcoming litigation, I think we ought to handle most everything right uphill. At times, I don't want to make somebody look like a jerk. I don't want to, you know, I've never, my job managing people and all that stuff, I wouldn't call somebody out in front of a bunch of people, and I think people that do are a bully or very insecure with themselves, and I want to show you how big they are. I'm not that way. I think as far as disciplinary action, I think I'm going to handle kind of aside, take care of it, try to get the work through. But I think you people ought to know at the end of it how it worked out, why it worked out. Yeah, right after what Bob said. You need to throw your phone. But, you know, don't give up on us. I know things look pretty grim.
Can't do anything. You're not making one change anywhere, anytime, where. Not that much of the wall,
I'll have to clean it off before I leave. Sure.
Was you done? I was just gonna ask why Pat was running.
Pat, why are you running?
Seems like the thing to do. Let me first say this, I've got 4 opponents in my race. Every one of them is a friend of mine. There's 3 up here this evening, and the one that's not here is my neighbor, the attorney kid that's right next to me. And I'm a friend of theirs, and I'll be a friend of whoever wins. Here's my point. I have a couple of points to make. I run for mayor when RL was killed to finish out his term. I lost that election till I thought it had got. He's immortal, okay? He's just immortal. That's the truth. Tell you like it is. Now, people say, well, I can't say this, I can't say that. And boy, I've stuck my foot in my mouth all my life, and I'm not going to quit now. A little over a year ago, I got up in a meeting that Chad Hayworth was running for all of us candidates, and I said, welcome to Granby, Missouri. We got the most unfriendly city hall in the state. Remember that? Nothing was done about that, except if you went there, they'll polish your boots. They're the friendliest people I ever seen in my life, ever since that was said. But another thing I said at that same meeting, Chad Hayworth said, Pat Kelly, what's the first thing you'll do if you become mayor? I said, hire a guy that can run our sewer system. The guy sitting right back there can't do it. The rest is history, folks. The rest is history. He had a record. He was terminated from a job before he took this job. Why don't they check? I knew it, and I'm a dumb auctioneer from Granby, Missouri. I knew it. The guy was fired from the OSHA for doing some of the same things he's done here. He couldn't do the job. Nobody listened one morning. Nobody heeded that one. You can put this in your family Bible. I will fire Paula tomorrow if I had the chance. Not that I dislike her. Don't take it that way. I don't. I hope she lives to be 150 years old, and I hope she lives a happy life. She can't do the job. She's proved it year after year after year after year after year. She can't do the job. I appreciate your vote.
But can you fire her strictly as mayor? Don't you have to have the council behind you?
Yes.
What, does the mayor have to have the council? I think the mayor
You
should go
can't walk
in.
in and fire her if you're mayor, if the council has to vote it.
Well, I think the mayor should go in with the agenda. That's what I preached on before. I think the mayor goes in with the platform, goes in the agenda. It is absolutely, there's nothing hidden about it. I support Travis 100%.
Well, I don't know, I'm just saying, the mayor, my understanding is really the mayor is to run the day-to-day stuff. But
Yes.
he has to have backing of the council
Yes.
to do anything, correct?
The mayor can fire.
I've heard the mayor can fire the council.
Well, yeah, it takes a vote with the council. All I'm saying is, save him out of trouble and do it tomorrow, guys. You can set up a special meeting.
I mean, I'm not saying one way or the other, I'm just saying, most of the time, the mayor doesn't have too much authority. Because the council has.
Well, true, yeah. It all has to work out. I understand that.
The risk is something like that. I'm pretty sure a while back they established that department heads can fire within the department, and the mayor is considered like the head of all departments. The
So
council
we can fire anybody?
yeah, the council can rehire, and I don't think the mayor can hire on his own.
But he can fire.
And I'm pretty sure the council could just rehire him if they wanted to, like immediately after. But yeah,
He can refire the next day.
right.
That's what I've always heard, is the mayor can fire, the council can hire back, and the mayor can hire and fire them again. They just stand on the door every time they walk into it, they say, you're fired, you're working.
But the council doesn't have power inside the meeting, so the mayor can simply wait till after the meeting and
Yeah,
do the job.
yeah.
Mayor, if she's going.
Andrew? Thank you.
Andrew, why would you want this job?
I don't know anymore.
I'll give you credit for truthfulness.
You thought you knew when you walked in here.
Oh, I've lived in this town my whole life. I've been city politicking since I was 9. I work in JJ's, all of you know that though. That's all you hear down there is just gossip going around town. I just want to be more involved. I want more people to be more involved. It's really sad to go to a council meeting and see the same 10, 15 people there every week. That's why I started filming it and putting it online. Seemed like a good idea.
And I can appreciate videos online.
I got
It
the
used to
line.
be 3 that went.
Huh?
Usually 3.
Yeah, but you know, I've wanted to run for a long time. I've known all the problems in the city going back years. I remember most of them. The sewer thing, that's been on the radar since they fired Charles back in 2011. Yeah, I can't.
You want to help the city?
Hmm?
You just want to help the city.
I want to help the city.
Well, I think it's great that Young Blood is finally, I've said
Hey,
that
Young.
for several, I've
Take
said
that
that.
as a compliment. You will.
Compared to us.
But I've said that for several years, that we need to get some younger blood start to be interested in the city.
Amen.
Because we're all getting kind of,
I know, I'm a tech junkie. I know all sorts of random things about computers. I know not everyone does. When a couple meetings back, Paula said she does the property taxes on the DOS program. DOS hasn't been made by Windows. Well, DOS is made by Windows. They haven't made a version of it since the year 2000. That means at minimum the property tax program is 15 years old. And they haven't really been making DOS programs since they made Windows, which was 95. So there's a good chance that program is 20 years old. Why are we using a 20-year-old program to do taxes for the city? I mean, sure, it probably works, but then we spend $3,000 on computers. 3 of them, I'm pretty sure. A $1,000 computer is really good. You can run DOS on $300 box, easy.
Of course, that involves installation, but you're not paying $700 for installation unless you're crazy. So, why are we spending so much money on computers so they can run something that ancient? That's what I want to know.
Because we've always done that.
Exactly. And that's perfect. I don't think any of us do things that way.
I'm all for spending money locally. This is not swiping anybody. You know, we approved that months ago. We still don't have it.
They're fine, man.
Are they not? Probably because nobody got operating costs out of fines and they down. Well, I mean, you know, like I say, we'll run out of breath before we run out of problems to talk about. But it's all got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And we've got to start out with a clean slate, open minds, and let the past be that. And if nothing else, learn from our mistakes and never revisit. It's just, history is just that. But to continue as a city, as a council, mayor, and I mean, it's like I say, it's a constant change in cast of characters down there. About the time you think everything's going smooth and there's an election, there's an upset. It's something that I cannot put enough emphasis on. And I've seen it happen again and again and again and again in elections, not just in this town, but in every small community. So many times, this is going to sound horrible, but everybody in this room knows it's true. It's not that you voted for somebody, you voted against somebody else. And not just in this town, but in other towns. I've seen good people that were very qualified be voted out of office just because somebody, all of a sudden, there was a likelihood of pissing match. And here we go. And, you know, I blame that. I've heard it from people, you know, well, I didn't like so-and-so, he done this. And me sitting there knowing that they didn't do that. And that never happened. Well, so-and-so said it did. And this guy that's saying it, or this person that's saying it, went around grandstanding all over town, saying what a horrible person this guy was, or this girl was, or this whoever was, and gets them voted out of office. And then when the person replaced them 6 months later, they're sitting pissing and moaning about them. But they got elected. And it was misinformation. Misinformation. I mean, that's why things like this are important. Come ask us. Know what we think. If you don't, you don't ever know. I mean, I try to, as everyone's figured out, speak very plainly of what's on my mind. Sometimes I get a little carried away and just let it run past myself. I don't do quite blurt it out. But nevertheless, you know, you don't really have to stand around very long to figure out one thing. And I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but sometimes you have to be very clear. Might have you're going to go home and cut your ears off on this one here. But, I don't know. Surely, somebody will run out of things to say.
I thought you done a good job.
I'll take care of that. Probably not. I hope that everybody got their questions answered, whatever. It's got a little better view, maybe a little better feel, maybe it works. I don't know. But, you know, if you have any questions, I'm not hard to find. Contact.
Here's exactly what I said.
With the
Tear down the Zoom